This is an experiment for us. We
Yeah.
don't know how it works, but we feel it's an important enough to try for a whole season or a whole year. So we're giving it a go.
I guess the reason for making this video is partly because it's not something. A gift economy is not something that we have in our everyday lives, uh, in in our culture. I read this book, Braiding Sweetgrass, by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and there's a beautiful chapter called "The Gift of Strawberries," um, and it basically talking about gift economies, um, and um, it made me wonder what it would be like to set up a gift economy for Kinship Workshop. And of course, things do cost money. We still need some money to run the workshops. But what if a gift economy was set up where people make an investment, where what they offer goes beyond the workshop itself? And I think we've had lots of conversations where we're asking what happens after the workshop. What happens to all of the things that we do together, and how does that feed back into the world? A participant has an experience, and then could that experience be compost for some other um, activity in the world?
We're asking people to reconsider how they might make an exchange beyond our usual financial transactions. Over lockdown, I started to make some exchanges with a neighbour. I would make bread, and I would make bread for my household, but I would also make bread for her, and in exchange, she gave me some vegetables each week. And what we started to realise, which was because there was no money changing hands, the relationship that we had with the things that each of us were offering extended and deep, like made our relationship more solid. So the other thing that you're talking about, I think, and I imagine that this, and in my experience, this happens whenever an exchange is made that doesn't necessarily put money at the front of the transaction, is that the relationships between the people making that exchange are also given value that goes above and beyond the exchange itself.
In a way, this is a call to action. Um, if your participation in a workshop could then support another project or another community, or um, another activity that is active and generative, um, and responds to the issues of our times. We often talk about the triple emergency of climate change, social justice, and wildlife decline or species loss.
Maybe it's useful to also say what a gift economy is not. So the proposition that we're making with Kinship Workshop this year is by means of exchange. So we're not offering a free workshop. Gift economy implies an exchange or a kind of transaction, if you like, but the transaction involves relationships and offers of skills and time rather than a financial exchange or transaction. So it sits outside of a kind of capitalist approach to an economy.
There are things that we might be helpful for Kinship Workshop. Could you help us with our social media skills, for example? Um, but but I'm also really looking forward to hearing people's ideas about how um, where this work might go that's not to do with our organisation, and how their participation in Kinship Workshop could support, yeah, a neighbour or a community or a garden or other animals. That kind of reminds me or makes me think of how, you know, we're a network of connections and relationships, and so you give a gift in a certain direction and you might not see it directly come back to you, but it feeds into a much wider system.